Hello, Homeschool Mom, and welcome to this week's edition of the Homeschool Well podcast. Jenny and I are here with you today,
Hello.
and it's April of 2026, dialing down to the end of the year. We're here all month giving you tips on how to finish this school year faithfully and well, not perfectly. And this week, we're going to talk about not finishing the curriculum.
Dun dun.
That seems so naughty.
Mhm.
But it's okay. It totally happens. It doesn't mean that you failed. Jenny and I have both had this like ticking time bomb feeling where you're looking at, the curriculum, and mostly we're talking about paper things, I think. I feel like
Mhm.
tangible things that you can look at. Although I guess you could look online at lessons that, you're supposed to be getting to, and you're like looking at the year, the days wind down, and you're looking at how much you're supposed to get done, and you're like, "Oh, no. There is no way that we're gonna get done with all this stuff."
Oh,
You
yes.
start feeling guilty because you know you're gonna have to skip some things, or you feel totally overwhelmed because
Mhm.
you're afraid your child is gonna fall behind, so you're like, "Oh, no, we're gonna do this until it whatever however long it takes for us to finish." And Jenny and I have both done that before, where we've been doing
Yes.
math in July.
It's always math.
Right? I mean, I will tell you, it was only twice that we did that.
Ugh.
We learned our lesson. Boy, it was painful. You start doing these things, comparing yourself to traditional school timelines, which is actually a fallacy because if you have been or you've had your child in traditional schooling, they're going to come home with a workbook or two that has a ton of lessons that aren't done. And if that's
Oh,
never
yeah.
happened to you, just know that in that classroom, there are workbooks and things that they did not get to and they did not finish, and you are just not seeing it. But they
That's right.
never, yes, traditional schools, private schools, you never finish every single thing, right?
Mm-mm.
And you just find yourself wondering, oh my goodness, did I do enough? Have I done enough? Am I going to do enough? What's this important stuff? It's all important. I can't miss it. I'm failing my child. It's the blame game. It's the circus of incriminating questions that you ask yourself. I just made that up, but that's really what it feels like.
That is it.
It is a circus. It just makes you feel like unfinished curriculum equals failure. And that is a lie.
That's right. We're here to tell you it is not. Finishing everything is not the goal. Growth is the goal. Remember, this is what we've been talking about every week. It's not about test scores. It's not about, what you get
Yeah.
done in the curriculum. It's about your child growing and you growing too, honestly. Your
Yeah.
whole family's growing through all of these experiences together. Your homeschool is not measured by the pages that you completed and checked off this year. It's measured by God's goals. What are
Ooh,
God's goals for your
I love
family?
that. I love it.
Yeah. What are God's goals for your family? Character growth. What else?
Progress.
And lots of things, not just in schoolwork, making progress in many things.
Confidence in themselves, in yourself, and in their faith in God and like
hmm
where He's taking you all.
Sure. And connection in your family. Like these are things that are important in your year, how you guys are connecting, growing together as a family, learning to live with each other, all those relational dynamics. So your homeschool isn't just measured by the pages you finished, it's measured by tons of things. You showed up, you adjusted, you kept going. This is what you've been doing all year, and that is being faithful in your homeschool and completing faithfully and not perfectly, like we've said. There is no perfect, it's just doing your best and being faithful to what you said you were going to do. And you can finish well without having to finish it all.
And
Yes.
sometimes, I don't wish this on any families, but we've met with families who have had years that have just been totally out of the norm, either for
Mhm.
good reasons, they've been distracted by amazing blessings that have come their way that they want to take advantage of. And so the academic part of the year was different, or
Mhm.
they were derailed by, tragedy, trauma,
Mhm.
sickness, all kinds of things that could be negative. And those experiences, whether good or bad, that's still life school. That's still you
Um,
persevering getting up every day, listening to what the best thing is that God has for you through those times. And we have a scripture that is very powerful that originally was just one in the middle, but we added all three. So it's kind of long today, but I think we needed
Mhm,
the whole context here. It's First Corinthians 4 1 through 3. It says, "This then is how you ought to regard us as servants of Christ and as those entrusted with the mysteries God has revealed. Now it is required that those who have been given a trust must prove faithful. I care very little if I am judged by you or by any human court. Indeed, I do not even judge myself." And I think that really is speaking to how if we are measuring our homeschool success with air quotes I'm
mm,
giving, right, by God's goals, we have to acknowledge, right, that who are we serving? We're serving the Lord. We have the absolute honor of being entrusted with these mysteries that He reveals to us all the time.
mhm,
Not just creation and heaven,
mhm,
but all the little things every day, right? There's constant
mhm,
mysteries that He reveals to us, that He entrusts to us. And
mhm,
so that requires us to be faithful to Him, His timing, His expectations,
mhm,
because we don't want to be judged by human people, right?
mhm,
We don't even want, He doesn't want us, especially, to judge ourselves.
mhm,
I love that part.
mhm,
God is saying, just lean into my plans. I have the best plans. Let me be the judge.
mhm. Yeah. So good.
Again, that was First Corinthians 4 1 through 3.
1 through 3, yes. So we wanna give you some helpful tips today when you start freaking out that you didn't finish the curriculum. We just wanna give you some hope here and some encouragement of what to do.
These are super applicable and very doable to your
Simple.
daily life. The first one is
Yes.
literally make 3 lists. I love these lists. Tell them, Jenny, because
Mhm.
you say it better.
Yes. Make 3 lists. You have a must finish pile or list, a nice to finish pile, like it would be nice to finish if we got this done, and then a let it go pile. So you have 3 piles like a must do, okay, maybe we'll do it if we get it done, and then no, we're out of here, let it go. Do not worry about this stuff anymore. So just start with that. Just make 3 lists and decide what is the priority, what would be nice, what do we not need to get done anymore? We're done with that one.
I want to sing the song from Frozen, of course. Let it
Mm,
go. And listen,
yeah.
the easiest thing to put on the let it go list would be things that you're already succeeding in. That if you've, I was famous for this. We've done like 18 science experiments. I don't think we need to do any more.
Mhm,
Things that you've done a lot of that are probably your interests and things that normally motivate you. But this is just the time to change your mindset and to tell your kids, look, we're at the end of the road. We're going to like dial into the things that we need to do. And so we have to put that away for now.
this happened to us with grammar. We had just done a ton of grammar the whole year, and then it was just kind of like, "All right, we are gonna be done with this. I've beat you to death with grammar this year. We're not finishing this book. We've done as much as needs to be done, and the rest we're gonna say goodbye to. Bye-bye."
Because when
So,
you
you can
looked in
just
it, there probably
yeah.
wasn't anything glaring that was like
No.
super duper important.
That's right.
And it felt like, okay, this is a
We're
good
gonna drop
release.
this
Like,
right
yeah,
now.
we've perfected a lot of things
Mhm,
and it's time to say bye-bye. Love
mhm.
that.
Yeah, so that's the first thing is make your 3 lists and figure out your priorities.
And the next helpful tip is to focus on core skills, especially in the younger years. These foundations are so important. Like, let's
Mhm,
give an example math. If your kid is, fifth grade and they're still struggling to memorize their multiplication facts, this is going to be a time to focus on that in math.
that's a must finish.
Yes, don't go into learning new concepts for good gracious, the long division without knowing your multiplication facts is just a nightmare. Focus on foundations that they're weak in at this time of the year in all core skills reading, writing, and math.
And we have a great tool that we have learned about recently, and we actually have on our site now, and it's called the Exact Path Learning Path. And I wish we would have had this when my kids were little. We did not, but it is a way for you to get kind of like interventions, really, like almost like tutoring for your kids in some of these areas, especially if you have a big family or you just don't have time to work with your kids in some of these skills over and over and over and over again. What it does is you have 3 little diagnostics they take in 3 subject areas, these core subject areas, and as soon as they're done taking that test, it opens up this learning path for them where they are able to practice the skills that they need help in. And then it's adaptive. The program just knows where they are and puts them right on the path to where they need to be. And that is just a great way to get a little bit of extra help in these core skills, especially at the end of the year when you've had it with your kids in some of these areas.
They sign in and they do it. There's no work on your part at all. So,
Mhm.
no prep, super quick, could be 10 minutes a day for 4 days. It could be 20 minutes 2 times a week.
The research is 40 minutes for the subject area each week has shown major growth in either math, reading, or the language arts section. It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's constantly going back to the gaps that your specific kid has, so you don't
Correct.
have to do that. And
Correct.
so again, that's called the Exact Path Learning Path, and you can find it at thehomeschoolwell.com/testing.
Mhm. And the third tip is to just give yourself permission to skip things. Not everything is essential. You don't need to go through the math book and do every problem, every page. Sometimes you can just do the odds or the evens or look at the page and say, we already know this. We're going to go on. We're going to skip this. You don't have to do every single activity and every single problem. Skim through it, do the basics, do the minimum. And I don't mean the minimum like just do the least amount. I mean, do the minimum that your child would require to understand and get what they need, and then move on.
We talk about this as an all year philosophy.
Yeah, this is our philosophy.
Perfect practice, quality over quantity, especially this time of year. Lean
Mhm.
into this concept of skipping things that are not essential.
Skip the busy work.
The fourth tip, and it's the most fun. I love this so much. It's a dopamine hit, you guys. You have got to create a simple finish plan that is trackable. Check the boxes on a checklist. My favorite thing right now for my kids is every Saturday I add a link in my paper chain because they are on the 28th week of school, both of them. And when we get to, I don't even know what it's going to be, but it's supposed to be 36 or whatever, they be graduating. And that is so,
Woohoo!
I know it's so motivating. We've done that before where we make the paper chain and we're counting down the last 30 days of school
Mhm,
or the last 10 lessons in our math notebook. And then every time we complete one, we take the chain off. Or Jenny,
mhm.
you were saying that you printed out the lessons that you had left to do.
Yeah, one year we did have lessons left in easy grammar. We couldn't skip them. They were essential. So I wrote down the pages the kids would need to finish by the end of the year. I wrote them down on a big long list and I said you can do 10 in a day, you can do one a day, you can do it however you want, but these all have to be done before the end of the year. So they would check them off once they would do them and I would check their work.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Any way to keep track
Mhm.
is such a great feeling, and it really is scientifically researched that that
That's
is a
right.
dopamine hit
Mhm.
when you reach your goals. And so this is a time of year to create mini goals.
Mhm.
If it has to be 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time, whatever.
Mhm.
Just don't spend a lot of money or get all intense. You don't have to go to Pinterest and make some fancy board. No,
No.
just just write it down and check it off, or like I'm doing, make the paper chain, get a big cheap pack of stars and put them down on the calendar. Whatever you need to do to make yourself see the accomplishments.
That's right.
Right? Yeah.
To recap those tips again, make 3 lists of what you need to get done or what would be nice to finish or let it go. Focus on core skills. Give yourself permission to skip certain things, not everything you need to do, and create a simple finish plan that you can check off or keep track of.
That wraps it up for another episode of the Homeschool Well podcast. Join us next week for another installment in our series about ending the school year faithfully, not perfectly. And in the meantime, we're here to support you in many different ways. We have our online community, we have end of the year testing and evaluations. We have our fabulous Exact Path Learning Path Intervention Program. Love saying that. And we do coaching. You can find all the details of our services at thehomeschoolwell.com/services. Check us out and be sure to tune in next week for another new episode.
Great. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye bye.